Solomon recognizes that God is bigger than any building that we can build, and yet he says, I'll do it. I'll build the building that you're asking me to do, right? I'll be obedient to the commandment. But will indeed God dwell on the earth? Notice in the Hebrew, it's asking, will God dwell on the earth? But if we compare to the Septuagint, where instead of saying, will God indeed dwell on the earth, and the root word, the Hebrew verb for dwell is the word yashav, from when we get the familiar word yeshiva. It typically refers to sitting or staying for a prolonged period or something to that effect. The Greek version includes a verb that includes dwelling with men. And so we can see here, I'm not going to read through all this Greek for you, but we can see that the verb here, katoi kese, is dwelling with God. Dwelling with men, right here, anthropon, epi tes geis, upon the earth. So the first question shows up in the Septuagint is, will God indeed dwell with men upon the earth? So it kind of makes it a little bit more emphatic than just saying, will God indeed dwell on the earth? Well, from the Hebrew, we could say, yeah, he dwelt on the earth in the tabernacle. But now we're saying in the Greek, will he indeed dwell with men upon the earth? And of course, again, this is like a midrash. Last week we said, yeah, he actually will dwell with men. He will make his dwelling within us in the person of his son, Yeshua, in the fullness of his spirit. So, in looking at the first passage, God is everywhere. He is everywhere. Solomon's trying to get us to understand that God can't dwell on the earth and be confined to the earthly walls. Why can't he? Because he's everywhere at the same time. Let's turn to the second passage. Again, this is going to be quick for this part tonight. Yeshua says in Matthew 28, and I'll start in verse 19 and move into verse 20. Right here, Yeshua says, therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. There's a whole teaching there on the singular name and the three persons, Father, Son, and Spirit. We could talk about that a different day, although eventually it will be a Trinitarian type discussion. Lots to talk about there, but I don't want to do that tonight. The verse in question is verse 20. Yeshua says, and teaching them, he's speaking to his disciples, teaching them to obey all that I have commanded you, and surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. Now, how could Yeshua be with all of us to the end of the age if Yeshua is just one man? And yet he says, surely I am with you always. He's speaking to the 11, right, the disciples, and these words will also go on to apply to anyone who is a genuine follower of Yeshua. I am with you, Ariel, always to the very end of the age. But if Ariel lives in Korea and Yeshua is with me to the very end of the age, and yet Ariel's with those people who are listening and watching this commentary in other parts of the world, those who are genuine believers in Messiah, he's with them always to the end of the age, then how is it that Yeshua is also everywhere at the same time? That's the point that's being made.